So I just finished Gears of War 1 Reloaded, and as with the original game, it ends with a train level. And it's always fun to see how these work. Gears of War 1 shipped with the editor, and so I can just open up the final level and see. Usually, and this is no exception, you'll have a static train. We're not actually moving all this shit around. It's just a bunch of tricks to make it appear that the train is moving. So here's the level, here's our train. And here's our background. We're actually seeing all of our backgrounds right now. Even though it starts out, you're looking at this rugged terrain. It goes to a city at one point, or maybe it's just all stacked. I don't know. Even though I just played this. So the track is, of course, just a big brush with a scrolling material on it. If we click on that surface and press F4, no, it is actually, it's a mesh, but still, it's not moving. It probably moves a little, because it's an interp which was the subclass of static mesh actor that you used if you wanted to move stuff around back in the day. So if we go down to its materials, find that in the content browser, or the generic browser as it was known, we can see that the road is just scrolling and there's no cost to that. So far everything that we're looking at is free, even though this is quite an impressive illusion. Same thing with the railroad track, which doesn't really look like a railroad track to me, but whatever, maybe it looks better in Reloaded. So the rest of the illusion, I guess the sky is easy because it's scrolling anyway with this Nemesis ink or whatever it is. But the real juice happens in what's called Matinee, which if you've only used Unreal 4 or 5, the equivalent was Sequencer, is Sequencer now. But Matinee was the precursor to those things. So let's see, we've got the panning world, we've got a ambient view shake that happens sometimes when in response to this event start grind, so that various terrible things happen to this train. There's a Matinee here which just moves some stuff up and down gently. So that's just sort of an additive, make the train appear to be sort of bumping up and down a little bit situation. Laid in with the looping terrain here, which just selects, I'll select this mesh. There's one mesh in the middle here, right? And the movement just keys it to go basically its own length across. And the way that this loops is just that there's another clone of it, one over that's attached to this middle one, and another on the other side as well. So eventually this all disappears when you get sort of time and a half the distance. Maybe there's a few of these actually. Anyway, it's just cloned a few times, and the illusion breaks down when you're not playing, obviously. You can see that. That's one of them. The other one is for the looping city, which loops at a different speed, I believe, but it's the exact same thing. We have 3 or more city meshes, and they just are one of them moves, and the others are attached. So I think the reason that the gentle bobbing up and down is separate is just so that you can sort of stack it, I guess. This doesn't animate the Z, only the XY, I guess. I'm not sure if that's quite right. But yeah, you can see, if we look behind, we can see the city eventually disappear, and you can see that in game too. And I don't think they even really fixed it in Reloaded, but that's fine. You know, you're super zoomed in Gears of War. All of this stuff, I think, is just more scrolling materials on big flat surfaces. Let's see. Nope, this is an emitter. This is actually particles. So the Nemesis are particles. And the ink is the ink. I can't get a good click in on this thing. But, you know, it's probably an emitter as well. Anyway, I just thought that was neat to, you know, it's always nice when you see something in a game to be able to jump in and find out what exactly was going on. There are a few other things here. Sometimes in this game, in this level, the train fucking carriages fall off. Those are Matinees again. It's all just the equivalent of doing it in Sequencer. Sequencer is much better. There's some fun little comments here. We can do this here, set physics on Dom and Marcus. As the game is over and we'll never get control back, also this stops them falling out of the world and fucking things up. End move, la 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 la. This whole system was amazing at the time. Kismet, obviously now it's kind of quaint. But yeah, this is how all the checkpoints work. Let me find another Matinee, because I want to see the... I want to see something break. Doors opening that are Matineed. That's kind of hairy compared to how you'd probably do it today, but, you know, doesn't matter. What's this one? Closed back door. That's something kind of boring. What's this one? This thing is hard to control. Ugh. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, here we go. Something happened, and I think we blew up a petrol tank over there and decoupled these train cars, so... Oh my god, it's all happening. Ah! And then they just stop. I assume something probably cleans up those meshes so you can't just look behind you and see. Maybe not. Yeah, something probably does. Anyway, so that's how the Gears of War train thing ends. Oh, works, I mean. There's also... So this is the entire train front to back, but at some point there's a tunnel. There's also this bridge. That's probably just matinees itself over every now and then. I think I can jump to where it is here. Or is this a group? See, that's attached to this thing. This. Find it in Unreal Kismet. It's in a few places. Start bridge. Yeah. We move the bridge and just probably reset it every now and then, and we can show another bridge. Water towers, thin poles, radio towers. Lots of just manually faked train movement, which, you know, is of course usually how you would do it now, unless you actually really need the world outside the train to be interactive in some way. Select. Find an Unreal Kismet. That's not in Kismet. What do you attach to? It's been a long time since I used Unreal 3, and it was a more recent version than this anyway. You can't WASD around the viewport in this version. Find that in Unreal Kismet. Tunnel movers. See, that's fun. We just loop a tunnel. All pretty simple, but there's a lot of ways the illusion can fall down, not moving stuff at the right speed, etc. Anyway, that's a thing that I thought would be cool to show on the internet.